The nature of the business that you are a part of requires you to work on and around structures that are sometimes hundreds of feet from the ground. In fall protection training, you studied self-supporting towers, guide towers, monopoles, your climbing equipment, how to use ladder safety devices, horizontal lifelines, and procedures for maneuvering, suspending and descending, and emergency rescue systems. Yet there are some structures that are considered non-standard in your field. These structures may include sides of buildings, billboards, and even farm silos. We have used a water tower and a rooftop in this video to demonstrate working on these structures efficiently and safely. Water towers and other non-standard structures may require adaptation of climbing devices and equipment. Ladders are a good example of this. Check for the presence of a safe climb device and its condition. With the variety of safe climb devices that are used, there is a chance you may not have the proper equipment to use the existing device. If there is a safe climb device which you have not used before, be sure to consult your supervisor for instructions before using it. A rope and rope grab is an excellent method for a temporary safe climb device. The person climbing up to rig the rope must still remain 100% connected during his climb. This can be accomplished by using a Y lanyard. Attach one leg of your shock-absorbing lanyard to the side rails, not the rungs, and be sure to attach the other leg of the lanyard before disconnecting from the first. Upon reaching the top of the ladder, select an appropriate anchorage point to attach the rope and use appropriate rigging principles. At this point, any worker following up the ladder can use a rope grab and shock-absorbing lanyard with the rope while climbing for fall arrest. Even though attached, maintain 3 points of contact. Be aware that this rigging becomes part of a PFAS, and you must follow the guidelines for fall arrest equipment. At the top, consider the exit from the safe climb device onto the structure. With non-standard structures, there may be limited choices for anchorage points. Select the best anchorage point available and connect before disconnecting from the safe climb device. Consider using rigging slings, anchorage straps, and self-retracting lanyards for situations with limited anchorage points between the safe climb device and your work location. Remain 100% connected as you move to your work area. When suspension equipment is required, be sure to follow the appropriate safety guidelines, regulations, and procedures for this type of equipment. Before disconnecting from your fall arrest connection and beginning your descent in suspension equipment, it is a good idea to have a second climber inspect your fall arrest and suspension connections. Move at a slow and controlled pace when working in suspension equipment. Maintain contact with the structure whenever possible during descent. Bouncing and fast drops may look good for mountain climbers, but they are not acceptable for professional technicians and may cause you to overshoot your work area. Be sure suspension equipment is locked before beginning your work. After completing the task in a descent system, descend down to the ground without attempting to climb back up. Non-standard structures present unique physical demands. Whether evaluating a potential work location or actually installing hardware, analyze each situation in terms of your physical capabilities and how you will use your fall arrest equipment. Before beginning a new or unusual maneuver, consult other climbers and consider several physical actions. Select the set of actions and equipment which best suit your skills. Always maintain 100% fall arrest connection to proper anchorage points. When you are working with non-standard structures, pre-planning is critical. Although a safety plan has been written, take it personally and make sure you understand and agree to its effectiveness. Upon reaching a rooftop, pay special attention to edges and parapets. Keep in mind that each worker that is suspended is required to have separate anchorage points for their suspension line and lifeline. Any worker near the edge must also have fall protection. Look around for any obstacles that might create a hazard or interfere with your work. Consider trip hazards and obstructions that affect the location and type of rigging for your anchorage points and suspension equipment. Non-standard structures often present unusual access to work positions. If appropriate anchorage points don't exist, they must be fabricated. Use special care when inspecting rigging equipment and materials used for fabricating anchorage points. Check all slings for wear, burns, cuts, and abrasions, which would derate the working load limit. Evaluate structure for areas where special padding or blocks will be used to prevent damaging contact. Be sure all connecting hardware is locking. Check hardware for undue wear and distortion, and apply all derating factors according to standards. If you are unsure of the inspection, use, and care of this equipment, consult your supervisor. Excessive movement in the area of anchorage points or near lines is dangerous. Avoid creating traffic patterns in the area of trip hazards or near the edge of the structure. If your work will take you anywhere near the edge, fall arrest equipment is required. Avoid staging equipment and materials in a manner that would create additional hazards. When using power tools, keep a safe distance from anchorage points, suspension, and hoisting systems. If you will be descending over the edge of the rooftop, take a close look at the path of your descent. Any structures or extensions in the path of descent may create a hazard to you or your equipment. Pad any rough surface where lines will be drawn across. When using suspension and descending equipment, smooth operation of the rope grab requires tension on the lifeline rope. You can tie the line to an anchor or tie a weight to the line at the ground level to help provide smooth action. While suspended, proper use and tethering of power tools must be considered. Whether working standard towers or non-standard structures, remember to plan your safety and rescue procedures and equipment usage diligently. In the event of a fall, apply the rescue procedure elected at the daily safety meeting. If rescue services or equipment are not available, you may resort to the techniques selected, such as manual, using the roll gliss system, a winch, or your controlled descent equipment. Whichever technique is employed, you must always remember that the rescuer's safety is critical. During any rescue, be sure the rescuer is 100% connected. When equipment or local rescue services are appropriate, you may elect to use them. If a boom truck is available, this may be the fastest and safest way to perform a rescue. The use of a boom truck or man lift needs the full attention of the operator and rescuer. Correct procedures must be followed for the safe operation of this equipment. The bucket should be maneuvered into a position to safely scoop the injured worker into the bucket. Remember to disconnect the worker from all safety and suspension lines. Then descend. Prior communications with rescue services will ensure that proper medical attention is given as soon as possible after reaching the ground. You have studied numerous procedures on how to best ensure your safety while climbing and working on both towers and non-standard structures. Although various equipment has been made available for your safety and that of your fellow worker, safety is still your responsibility.